since the beginning of this pandemic, it is inevitable to not see the changes gradually happening in our society. Yet as humans, we are known to adapt to the changes happening around us. So, what is social change? Social change is a process. It is a change in social organization, in structure along with functions of society. It can also mean human change, which takes place in the life patterns of the people. Now, as to what I've said, what comes with the social changes is, of course, a little problem, which defines as any condition or behavior that has negative consequences for large numbers of people, and that is generally recognized as a condition or behavior that needs to be addressed. Oppression, sexual abuse, harassment, I'm talking about JBV. Now, what is JBV, ma'am? Well, JBV is gender-based violence. It refers to harmful acts directed at an individual based on their gender, wherein it is rooted in gender inequality and the abuse of power and harmful social norms. Due to the rise of unemployment that leads to great stress, the confined space and socioeconomic pressures that make living even more harder for those who are already suffering, in which the loss of livelihood is one of the usual catalysts that sparks this act of violence, as the frustration and stress upon these times that add up to the problems greatly reflects upon their actions. Regarding this issue, it has been rampant since the start of the pandemic, where limited reach to help and assistance due to the lockdown or quarantine made this issue even more harder, in which victims are trapped with the perpetrators such as the husband and other family members, or people that can be a threat. Although gender-based violence is inevitable, it is, for a fact, can be prevented. Thus, if we try to step back and think what we may be of help to address the problem, great asset or solution is using ICT, of course. There are many opportunities for ICT to improve online protection, mitigate risks, and respond to JBV. The use cases are endless, where it can be used to map violence, to gathering data, using data gathered to advocate for change, and providing survivors with access to essential information and support. More broadly, ICTs are also being used to access support from a community of peers, raise awareness of the violence faced by women and girls amongst their families and communities, and monitor along with evaluate interventions and measure their impact. Erstwhile, as a student, my experience I have encountered in using ICT as a platform for social change is that it made the act of sharing what I want to express, whether it be about a social issue or such, the use of ICT made things much more easier to reach a number of people with just one click. One of the following Confucian values that may help in terms of ending gender-based violence are Ren and Yi, wherein, through these, problems such as JBV could be lessened, moreover not be as rampant in the first place. For Ren refers to extending one's filial love for parents and siblings to fellow human beings, along with Yi or righteousness that stands in having the moral disposition to do good. Thus, if we embrace these kinds of values, I think the pandemic issue of JBV wouldn't be as many as the cases we have now. Violence is not confined to the battlefield. For many women and girls, the threat looms largest where they should be safest, in their own homes. And in terms of prevention, to redress the violence against women, this means increasing investment in online services, making sure judicial systems continue to prosecute abusers, declaring shelters as essential services, and creating safe ways for women to seek support without alerting their abusers. Well, we need to adapt to social change, for no society has ever remained the same, where if we don't adapt to it, then it will be quite complicated If we don't adapt to the social changes during the pandemic, such as the recommended and compulsory use of masks, then the issue of spreading the virus would be a catastrophe. A bigger reason why adapting to social change is important. Because if you don't adapt to social change, then we cannot progress as a society.